So we're still on week 1 with 7 ways to build trust and rapport with people. And remember, hopefully what you're doing is you're starting to apply these principles every single day. So you're looking for one time at some point during the day to apply this principle before you go to bed. That's the only thing that you have to do, is to look for one situation where you would have done something differently and now you're applying this principle, and you will have succeeded as we go through these days. So this will be your easiest one yet, though. This will be the easiest principle, because principle number 3 is a way to build trust and rapport with people, and really it's just as simple as smiling. So if you think about it, anytime we're having a tough day or a rough day, and you kind of walk, even if it's something that's just going to a fast food restaurant or going to get a cup of coffee or something like that, and the person who is serving you, who's waiting on you, just has a nice smile, it kind of lightens up your day a little bit. In fact, it was funny because there was a commercial that was on TV a couple of years ago that was really nice. It was going backwards, and it was people smiling at each other, and it is, I think it was a car ad, and the first person actually saw the car and smiled, and as a result the smile kept passing along. But it was actually a neat little way to kind of show how powerful a smile was. I'll give you a good example of this, by the way, about how important this is. When I first started in my career in business, I was working for an oil company. It was a small little mom and pop oil company in a little town in West Texas. And the office manager and I were usually the first 2 people that came in the morning. You know, I've always had a pretty good work ethic, so I was always there fairly early in the morning. And Donna was the office manager, receptionist. And she and I would usually have a cup of coffee before we actually started the day. And it was funny, after a couple of weeks of me being there, she kind of looked at me as I was kind of slurping down coffee in the kitchen with her, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Well, sure." And she said, "You always just seem like you're in a bad mood." And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" And she said, "Well, you know, I felt like actually what she said to me, she said, "Well, are you a happy person, Doug?" And I said, "Well, I guess I'm as happy as the next guy, right?" You know, and I started to feel a little uncomfortable. And she kind of looked at me very bluntly, and she said, "Maybe you should tell your face, you know, because if you're really happy, your face isn't really showing it." And it was funny because that wasn't the first time that somebody had told me a similar kind of thing, although it was probably the most blunt way that somebody ever told it to me. But actually Donna did me a good favor, because what was interesting was that just after a few minutes after we had that conversation, I went back into my office, and I shared an office with like 2 other guys. There were 3 of us in the same office. And I got to say, I was still new to the company. I'd only been there a few weeks, and I was still unsure about what exactly I was supposed to be doing. And when the next guy came, when the person that came in after me did so, his name was Todd, and when he came in, I kind of, for the first time, I greeted him, and I said, "Hey, morning, Todd, how are you doing?" And I smiled at him. And basically what I'd done prior to that is I wanted people to think I was busy, even though I didn't have a whole lot to do. I wanted people to think I was busy, so I'd look at my laptop and I would kind of write notes and stuff like that as people would come in. And I would, you know, sometimes I'd say good morning to him, but it was very quick. Well, this day, you know, I said, I just kind of smiled at Todd and said good morning to him. And it was funny because he started a conversation with me, which he hadn't done before. And during that conversation, he basically told me, he said, "Hey, I know how it is when you get started here. You don't get a whole lot of training. Is there anything I can help you with?" And I was like, "Oh my God, yeah." And I just kind of started asking him questions. We spent another 20 minutes or so with him just kind of pointing me in the right direction on what to do. So he actually helped me become more successful at that job as a result of, you know, basically just me making the effort and smiling. So if you want to build trust and rapport with people, just smile more. When you do, you're going to be approachable, and people are going to be more likely to come to you.